Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that affects literally anyone who has ever interacted with decentralized finance. We're talking about a massive, multi-million-dollar gap in DeFi security, a gap that is unfortunately costing everyday users their hard-earned funds. In the fast-moving world of the Sui blockchain ecosystem, there are hundreds of smart contracts being deployed constantly, but here's the problem. While the technology is moving at lightning speed, the security checking is often lagging way behind, leaving the door wide open for devastating exploits. So today, we're going to explore a really breakthrough project called SuiShield, which is using AI to completely democratize how security is handled on the blockchain.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by examining the DeFi security gap, and then we'll introduce SuiShield. From there, we'll unpack its four-step security process, look at decentralizing trust with Walrus, and finally, explore the future of Sui. Let's get into it. Section 1, the DeFi security gap. Every time a developer pushes a smart contract without a rigorous security review, user funds are literally on the line. And right now, there's a fundamentally dangerous gap operating in the market. Think about the heavy hitters, the large, well-funded protocols like HADL, Cetus, and Scallop. These teams can easily afford to drop tens of thousands of dollars on formal security audits before they ever launch. But what about the individual developers or the small teams? They're building incredibly innovative tools, but they just can't afford those massive audit price tags. Because of this, new protocols end up launching completely unchecked. Vulnerabilities slip through the cracks, users ultimately lose their funds, and to make matters worse, there isn't even a public registry where a user can verify if a contract was audited in the first place. It is a huge blind spot. Which brings us to Section 2, introducing SuiShield. SuiShield is the tool stepping in to bridge that exact gap, and it completely solves both the cost barrier and the trust barrier in one swift motion. It makes AI-powered security reviews accessible and, best of all, entirely free for every single builder in the Sui ecosystem. But to really understand why SuiShield is so special, we have to talk about the language it analyzes. Sui uses a programming language called Move. Now, if you're a developer, you know you can't just take a generic security scanner built for Ethereum and slap it on here. Move has highly unique patterns that demand specialized analysis. We're talking about complex architectural quirks like shared objects, capability-based access control, and what are known as hot potato patterns. Because Move handles digital assets more like physical objects than simple database entries, the AI scanner doing the checking has to be specifically trained to understand these exact nuances. Section 3, the four-step security process. So how does this actually work under the hood? It all breaks down into four main steps. Step 1 is contract input. A developer simply pastes their Move smart contract directly into the system. Step 2 is the AI analysis, where the engine goes to work hunting for known vulnerabilities. Step 3 is Walrus storage, which securely and permanently files the audit report. And finally, Step 4 pushes the system into DeFi live monitoring. This actually extends beyond static code to track real-time market risks on the network, things like liquidity concentration, oracle freshness, collateral health ratios, and market imbalances. Let's dive a little deeper into Step 2, because this is where the AI really flexes its muscles. The engine scans both static code and economic logic for some seriously devastating vulnerabilities. It hunts for reentrancy attacks, where a malicious contract loops back into a vulnerable function to drain funds before the first transaction even finishes. It flags flash loan exploits, where massive uncollateralized loans manipulate markets in a single transaction. It catches oracle price manipulation, checking for distorted on-chain price feeds. It even checks for arithmetic overflow, which is essentially when mathematical operations exceed a limit and disastrously wrap around to zero. And of course, it locks down access controls so random users can't trigger admin functions, and it flags lock duration bypasses, preventing time-locked funds from being withdrawn early. It's an absolutely comprehensive, specialized suite. After that intensive scan, the AI distills all of its complex findings into a simple, actionable metric, a risk score from 0 to 100. A higher number, that means extreme danger. Alongside this score, the developer receives a highly detailed list of findings, categorized neatly by severity into high, medium, or low. It literally takes incredibly complex analysis and makes it immediately readable. Moving on to Section 4, decentralizing trust with Walrus. So what happens after the audit? A huge problem in the space right now isn't just getting the audit, it's proving it actually happened and hasn't been tampered with. Believe it or not, multi-million-dollar DeFi protocols currently rely on centralized PDFs. They host their audit reports on a Google Drive or a company website. Think about that for a second. Those files can be modified, deleted, or simply lost if the server goes down. There is zero verified trust. SuiShield replaces that totally outdated system with Walrus, which is Sui's decentralized blob storage system. Instead of a fragile PDF, the audit is stored across a network of storage nodes. It becomes a censorship-resistant, permanent public registry of security findings. And how exactly does it stay unchangeable? Through something called a content address identifier, or a blob ID. This is a brilliant technical guarantee. The unique ID for the audit report is mathematically derived from the content of the report itself. If someone tries to change even a single comma in that audit report, the blob ID completely changes. It is entirely tamper-proof. That specific blob ID is then registered on the Sui blockchain, locking it together with the contract address and the exact timestamp. It creates an unbroken, verifiable link of trust that anyone can audit.
Section 5, the future of Sui.
We've seen the immediate mechanics, but let's pivot for a second to the grassroots origins of this project, because it's pretty awesome. Looking at the technical highlights, this wasn't built in a corporate boardroom. SuiShield originated at the Su Overflow Taiwan Hacker House in Taipei. It's a grassroots project built by developers for developers. It features that critical move-specific analysis we discussed, but here is the really amazing detail. Those audit reports stored on Walrus, they're locked in for 253 epochs. In real-world time, that means the data is guaranteed and locked for approximately 2 whole years. Combined with the on-chain registry, it's a massive leap forward in decentralized trust infrastructure. So the crucial point is understanding who exactly benefits from all this. Honestly, it's a win-win-win. First, it serves the developers who desperately need fast, free, pre-mainnet security checks. Second, it empowers everyday DeFi users, allowing us to finally verify a protocol's safety via a public registry before risking our money. And third, it serves the broader ecosystem by drastically raising the baseline of security and trust for everyone involved. But the vision here doesn't stop at being a standalone tool. The ultimate goal is to integrate SuiShield directly into developer workflows. Imagine a future where every single time a developer attempts to deploy a move contract to the Sui mainnet, this AI scan just runs automatically in the background. If the risk score is too high, the deployment is instantly flagged or even blocked. It takes security from being a manual, expensive, and easily forgotten chore and turns it into an automated, invisible layer of protection built into the very fabric of the network.
As the Sui DeFi ecosystem prepares for its next massive phase of growth, we have to remember that growth without security is incredibly fragile. Which leaves us with this final thought. What if security wasn't just an expensive one-time checkbox that only the big players could afford, but a continuous, AI-powered, verifiable guarantee available to everyone? With tools like SuiShield leveraging Walrus and the Sui blockchain, that future isn't just a possibility. It's already being built. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, everyone. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.